Congratulations! You've booked your first class with VIPKid. Now what do you do? Hello, Teacher Megan here with VIPKid. Congratulations, teacher. You have not only been hired, but you have opened your slots and have been booked with your first student and first class. Let's talk about how to successfully maneuver through that first class. First of all, you need to organize your class materials. Now, VIPKid already has the lesson plans done. So when you go to your teacher portal, you will be able to see your student name, any other teacher comments from previous teachers, how many classes they've taken, and then you'll also be able to see the materials for the class that you are going to be teaching. When you click on those materials, it is up to you what you want to do with that information. Everything is on the slides. There's tips that will show you stuff, but not every slide has the answers. So if you're like me and not really a morning person, and literally 2 + 2 at 4 in the morning is hard for your brain to comprehend, it might be a good idea to organize some of these lesson plans and write down some of the answers that VIPKid doesn't necessarily give us. If you want more information on how I organize my classes and my students, please see the link below to that video on classroom organization. Okay, so when it is time for you to teach your class, I always recommend getting in front of your computer at least 10 minutes early. Open up your computer. I've heard some really horror stories about teachers who get to their computer 2 minutes before a class and their computer starts updating, or it's shut off and the battery's dead, or something catastrophic happened. So just be prepared. I always wake up 30 minutes before my first class, and the first thing I do, I jump out of bed, I open up my laptop, I turn on a few lights in my classroom, and then I go back and, get ready, do hair, makeup, all that stuff. So you can enter the classroom no more than 5 minutes before your class starts. Don't enter your classroom 15 minutes before it starts. So enter your classroom after 5 minutes. I usually enter around 4 or 3 minutes or so because I don't want to sit there and be hanging out for that long, just staring at nothing. If the student's already there, don't feel the need to turn on your camera or to say hi or anything like that. Usually you can just sit there and quiet. You can keep prepping for other classes or do whatever you need to do, sip your coffee or tea. Another thing that I like to do is I have some students that like to chat in the chat box. So when they see me come on, they'll automatically write "Hello, teacher," and I'll write them back. So be nice about that. Go ahead and write them back if they're writing you. But don't feel like you have to start the class early. Don't start the class early. I actually don't start my classes until the start class warning pop-up comes up. This is a little box that starts at 10 seconds before your class. You click that little box and then it starts your class perfectly on time, usually about 3 seconds before the time. That's when I take my screenshot with my picture on the screen showing I have 2 seconds before the class actually starts to show I showed up for my class on time. If you want more information of when I take screenshots in my class, look below in the description. I will link the video to my screenshots. Okay, rewards and stars. Yes, teachers, you are able to give and take away stars during class. I've never had to take any stars away, and I've never given less than 5 stars. You have to be really something terrible, catastrophic has to happen with a child's behavior or something like that to take stars away. But it is something that you can use an incentive, especially those that teach the younger children. If you're having behavioral issues and you take a star away and then you can earn your star back. Let's do this, let's do the lesson, say this, that kind of thing. It can be very helpful. I teach the older kids, and so they could care less about the stars. I give stars every 5 minutes though. So that seems to work out. It's a 25-minute class. We've got 5 stars to give, and it helps break up the content pretty nicely. So you need to stay until 25 minutes until you end the class. You cannot end the class before 25 minutes. Some things that you can do if you have a fast pacer, especially with the unit assessments. I have some kids that fly through those unit assessments. They can get done in like 18 or 19 minutes. This is a great time for you to extend, find out more about them. What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite animal? Do you have any pets? Where do you like to go? These are all great questions that you can ask to help you get to know your student better and help you get better rewards for them if you're using like Google Slides or even real props. I did an assessment with one of my favorite students and I learned something new about him. We had a few extra minutes at the end of class and he out of the blue said, "I really like cars." And I'm like, let's talk about that. What kind of cars? Italian cars. I love the Ferrari. And I'm like, whoa. So you better believe I now have Ferrari Google Slide rewards for that student. And it makes the class just that much more special. So take that time and use it wisely. Some teachers like to play tic-tac-toe with their students. Some teachers like to play games or talk about something new. Use that time. Never end your class before 25 minutes though. Once 25 minute hits, that is when I can say, you did a great job. High five. Give them a high five, a great big smile. I will see you next time. Goodbye. Student's name, okay? That's when we can end class. You hit that end class button. I write my feedback in between classes. I did not start out writing feedback in between classes. It has taken me a while to get used to writing feedback. I now have written my own templates for what I'd like to say for either brand new students, returning students, students taking unit assessments, trial students. I have different feedbacks for all of those in a separate document. So I can literally copy and paste them, put in the student's name, put in things that are relevant to that lesson. And that is how I'm able to do feedback within about a minute and a half in between classes. If you're a brand new teacher, don't freak out about having to do that. You can always go back and do your feedback later. You have 12 hours to get your feedback done. So don't freak out if you can't deal with the stress of getting it done in time. And there's still some classes, if me and the student are really talking or the student's struggling with the lesson and the lesson takes until 28 minutes, that I won't get my feedback done. I'll just wait and do it until I'm done teaching all of my classes. And that's okay too. So after you put your feedback in, a box, if you stay in the classroom portal, a box will pop up when it hits 2 minutes before your next class. If you're teaching back-to-back classes, 2 minutes before your next class starts, a box will pop up and say, do you want to enter the next classroom? You click enter the next classroom and it takes you directly to that class. It is way easier to do that button when you're in your first class than to go out back into the teacher portal, find your next class, hit the classroom button, make it load. It takes a lot more time. So if you just stay in your classroom for your first student, you will get a little warning saying that you have another class and to go ahead and enter that classroom. It takes less time, which gives me more time for feedback and to prepare for that next class. Okay, some things that you need to be aware of for your first class. If you have a student no-show, you need to wait for 25 minutes. You get paid for that no-show, and so they want you to wait for that time. Some teachers like to cover their cameras. I don't. You're being recorded the whole time. If they want to sit there and watch me check my email, by all means, they can sit there and watch me check my email. I take a screenshot every 5 minutes to prove that I was there and I was waiting for the student and they never showed up. Again, that just protects me, and that's what I do. If it is a trial class, then you only have to wait 15 minutes. You get half pay for trial classes, so do not wait the entire 25 minutes. I have some situations where there was a student no-show and the fireman came onto our chat box and said, "Teacher, they're running late. They will be there in just a few minutes. Please wait." And then you wait. And I, of course, take a screenshot of that conversation. I've also had instances where the fireman comes on at 10 minutes and they're like, the student's not going to show. This class is already canceled. Ah, thank you. I just got paid and I don't have to sit here. Yay! So at that point, screenshot that conversation so you have proof the fireman told you to leave. You can end the class. A box will pop up asking why you're leaving the class early. There's a button that says fireman canceled the class. Click that one and out you go. If you end up having tech issues at all, your student keeps going on and offline, you can't hear the student, you can't see the student, call the firemen. The firemen are there to resolve all of those technical issues that we know nothing about. Usually they'll switch the lines or switch back to the old classroom, but whatever the problem is, usually they can fix it within a reasonable amount of time. Okay, if your first class is a unit assessment, this is something that is a little bit different than the other classes. There are way more slides in a unit assessment, but they actually go faster because those slides are like, we're starting level 3, let's go. It takes seconds to say that. One really awesome thing about the unit assessments is that you can actually enter in their feedback while they're doing the class. And I'm not talking about entering in a paragraph of dialogue while you're trying to focus on the student. You actually will give a score for each slide the student completes. So you can bring up that feedback, and this is the only time you can do it. If you hit the feedback button while you're in a normal MC class, it will take you out of the classroom. Like, don't do it. Bad things happen. If you hit the feedback button in a UA, you can actually give the points for each slide as they're completing the slide. So it saves you a lot of time when you're doing the feedback later on or between classes, and you can do it instantaneously, like they're completing the slide, they got 4 out of 5, and you know what score to give them. It's so much easier to do it while they're actually taking the assessment. So if you have your first unit assessment, have fun and go ahead and hit that feedback button and start doing their scores as they're going through the slides. All right, teachers, I hope this has been helpful. Congratulations on booking your first class, and I hope that you love VIPKid as much as I do. Please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and of course, as always, subscribe. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Come on.